Alrighty then, welcome! Anyways, I know this isn't my typical every other Saturday upload, but we're scheduling stuff. I figured, might as well throw my own hat into the ring with this predicting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tracks. Because I actually have made multiple predictions now. I will give my thoughts on Wave 1 and what I think about the whole graphics situation. But that'll be at the end of the video. Not the beginning. Anyways, before we actually begin, there are 4 points I want to make. One, as you may know, there's been some data mines after Wave 1 released of potential upcoming stuff. One of these things that they found was a promotional image that has tracks that are not currently in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, while this image is real, there is a good chance that it is very much a placeholder, so all the tracks found within it should be taken with a grain of salt. One of the tracks featured is the trick version of Choco Mountain from Tour, which I doubt they will add. I think the only tracks that are worth actually taking with more than a grain of salt from that promotional image are the ones that aren't already in Tour. So like there's potentially Koopa Cape has been found. So something like that. Koopa Cape is going to be weighed a lot heavier than something like, I don't know, Lakeside Park from GBA that hasn't really been found in that image. There's also a brand new ice cream themed course in it, which will be on my list. That'll probably be coming to Tour this summer. 2, another thing that was data mined was potential origin of tracks in each cup. So essentially, if you, like when you go to a cup, a retro cup, and it has like the tooltip saying where each game is from, like Wii, GBA, potential data for that has been found in the remaining DLC cups. Now this could be garbage data, it may not actually be real data, it may be just placeholder stuff. And matter of fact, there's actually 7 blank ones that don't have any data. That being said, I'm still going to take that into account with this order in case it actually is genuine data. I might as well use it to my advantage. 3, any track that's in Tour will have priority over ones that aren't in Tour. This does change some of my predictions. There are some tracks that I'd rather have, but I think are less likely because they aren't in Tour. I will mention those when we get there. But this isn't like a all or nothing type thing where if it isn't in Tour right now, I'm for sure not going to use it. 4, there has been data mines of Mario Kart Tour. If you don't want to hear potential upcoming courses of Mario Kart Tour, you can use the link in the description to skip to the prediction of the Wave 2 tracks, as I'm going to mention them. But potential track data mines of Mario Kart Tour include Coconut Mall, Daisy Cruiser or Wii Koopa Cape, GBA Yoshi Desert, Wii Dry Ruins, potentially Wii Moonview Highway in GameCube, Mushroom Bridge or Mushroom City, I wish I could speak. Matter of fact, actually, Mushroom Bridge and Mushroom City have 2 potential objects in the game's files hinting to them. And also, upcoming original tracks have been potentially hinted at in there. Anyways, before we get to Wave 2 and beyond, we should probably briefly go over the 8 tracks included in Wave 1. Starting with the Golden Dash Cup, which the tracks are Tour Parish Promenade, 3DS Toad Circuit, N64 Choco Mountain, and Wii Coconut Mall. The Lucky Cat Cup rounds Wave 1 off with Tour Tokyo Blur, DS Shroom Ridge, GBA Sky Garden, and Tour Ninja Hideaway. On to the real meat, however, my predictions. Every cup I will start with a blank image that showcases the data mine track information. Since there are 7 entries from the data mine that didn't have game data attached to them, I will represent those with 3 question marks. The Turnip Cup has none of those, however. Another note is with notable exception of Tour, for the most part, no ways will have multiple entries from one game. Anyways, my picks for this cup are Tour Los Angeles Laps, SNES Mario Circuit 1, N64 Calamari Desert, and DS Waluigi Pinball. I think it'll be a safe guess to assume each wave will have one huge wave seller. For Wave 1, that was Coconut Mall. For this one, Waluigi Pinball. I also think, with the exception of one cup, every single cup will begin with a city track. Another thing I was aiming for was more summer-themed tracks, since this wave will most likely release over the summer. Hence why I chose LA Laps this early on. While I would rather have Mario Circuit 4, since it hasn't been remade yet, and I just think it has a better layout in general, Mario Circuit 1 is just way more likely, as it is in Mario Kart Tour, and it is the first course of the entire franchise. Calamari Desert is not only what I'd consider a good summer track, due to it being desert with the blazing sun, but it's also a fan favorite, and a personal favorite N64 track that happens to be in Tour. As for Waluigi Pinball, what is there to say? Fantastic course, and I want it sooner rather than later. Rounding Wave 2 off is the Propellor Cup. I predict Tour New York Minute, GBA Sunset Wilds, Wii Mushroom Gorge, and 3DS Woohoo Loop. Frankly, I can't believe we didn't get New York Minute, the tour track, in Wave 1. I think it's an easy pick to be coming real soon. The only unrealistic thing about it is I already predicted another US city, LA, for this wave. Sunset Wilds is another course I eagerly await. With the remixed music and Mario Kart 8's lighting engine, this track will be stunning. The only downside is that I'll probably use Tour's truncated track layout, but it isn't as much of an issue for this track as compared to Sky Garden, as it's still decent length and decent layout. Mushroom Gorge is a fun Wii track that also recently got added to Tour. This is one of those tracks where it isn't if it'll be added, but rather when. Rounding off this cup and wave is Woohoo Loop. While the data mine didn't specify a game to end this cup, I'd be shocked if a bunch of Mario Kart 7 we didn't get a bunch of Mario Kart 7 tracks, since they make up the bulk of Tour's roster. The reason I chose Woohoo Loop and not Maka Woohoo is because I like it better. No major, reason with data mines or anything. I think both are great, but I just prefer this one. Either way though, I hope we get at least one of them, or heck, both of them. They're both great. That brings us to the start of Wave 3 with the Rock Cup. I predict Tour Mary Mountain, DS Delfina Plaza, GBA Cheap Cheap Island, and 3DS Rock Mountain. I think Mary Mountain would be the perfect opener for a potential fall/holiday wave. While it isn't a city track, as of now, if every cup were to open with a city track, they would need to make 3 more by the end of 2023. I don't think that's unlikely. For sake of ease, I will only have 2 unknown city tracks on this list. I think Delfina Plaza is one of the no-brainer DS tracks. The others being Waluigi Pinball, Airship Fortress, Peach Gardens, and Luigi Mansion. All these are great tracks. But for now, and for this wave, I choose Delfina Plaza, as I just think it would be the perfect DS track to end the year with. One thing you'll notice about the data mine is it has a lot of GBA tracks. Honestly, I think the amount of GBA tracks alone might be able to discredit it as garbage data. But nonetheless, I would love to see Cheap Cheap Island return. Although I don't really have much to say about it, besides I quite enjoy it. Finally, to round out this cup, I think the most obvious pick. The namesake of this cup, Rock Mountain. Honestly, to me this is an underrated masterpiece, as the verticality and theming of this track is just fantastic. Plus the music rocks! As for the Moon Cup, and what I believe will be the last cup of 2022, I think we'll get Tour Vancouver Velocity, GameCube Dino Jungle, Wii DK Summit, and 3DS Rainbow Road. Not only is Vancouver Velocity one of the most adored city tracks, but I think it would make a great wintry city course. Plus, I am positive Vancouver Velocity 3 will drop in Tour by this point, making it more likely than cities that don't have 3 versions. Honestly, it's a crime that I don't have a double track listed before this, but I think that 3DS track was just more likely for Wave 2. Who knows? As for the double dash track I chose, here, Dino Down Jungle, I chose it for a multitude of reasons. Well, two actually. One, it's the only Double Dash track in Tour, not already in Mario Kart 8. Two, it's one of my favorites in Double Dash, so I'd love to see it come back. I would be shocked if we didn't get a Wii course every wave. That, and the wintry theme, is why I chose DK Summit. While I have no attachment to this map, I understand it is a fan favorite, and that is why it is here. Rounding off 2022, I chose 3DS Rainbow Road. What can I say? I love this track! I think this would be a perfect time to drop our first Rainbow Road of the DLC, and I'd love it if they chose this one, since it is my favorite course in the entire franchise. Just love how it's a section track, I love driving on the moon, going in the rings of Saturn or whatever planet that is, and I just think the layout is a lot of fun. Hi everyone, sorry to interrupt the video, but before we get on to Wave 4, I just want to say, hopefully you're enjoying. I'd love it if you were to comment your thoughts down below, and like and subscribe to the channel. That just would mean a lot. Anyways, you don't want to hear this. You want to hear predictions, that's why you're here. So let's go right back into them. That has a lot of courses, huh? Well, starting with Wave 4's Boomerang Cup, we got even more great courses coming. Tour London Loop, Wii Toad Factory, DS Airship Fortress, and N64 Wario Stadium. I would have had London Loop way earlier, but I felt like Vancouver and LA just fit their respective waves better. But now this rocking city gets a time to shine. I also feel like its placement here mirrors Wave 1 with another European city, Paris, starting off the year. Honestly, I'm still upset we got Groma Volcano and not Toad's Factory in the base game, so now would be a great time to make up for that sin and include this bump. In fact, the only reason this and the next track were not included in my predictions earlier is because I think it would make sense to start 2023 with multiple ultra wave selling tracks and this wave to really drive up sales. Honestly, I don't have much to say about Airship Fortress. Its music is some of the best in the franchise to me, and I love the setting. This track is a must with this DLC. Ending this wave is the only N64 track not yet remade. And for a good reason in my opinion. Wario Stadium from the N64. Hopefully they add something really cool to spice up the stage, but I doubt it. I bet I'll still find it really long and boring. This track, honestly, is only here because it's hard to tell if the data mine promotional image pictured Waluigi Stadium or this track. But more on that later. Honestly, that last cup is pretty hard to follow up, but I tried my best for the Boomerang Cup. Tour Sydney Sprint, GameCube Mushroom City, GBA Bowser's Castle 2, and, well, the final one's kind of hard to explain. I mostly think the reason we will get Sydney Sprint now is because the boomerangs are often associated with Australia. I have no other reason, honestly. That, and as of now, I believe it only has 2 versions of Tour, which gives them time to do a 3rd version. Although I doubt that'll be a problem by the time this is made, as we have yet to come across Summer, and I bet they'll do another Sydney Sprint then. Mushroom City is meant to be one of the big sellers of this cup, as it has never returned before. I am a sucker for tracks with cars on them, so I'd love to see this track come back. As just the other cars on the road and the sometimes confusing layout make this track a bunch of fun to play. This map could also easily be Mushroom Bridge, but I doubt both will get in those, since in Mario Kart 8 they made it so every course has its own music track. You may be saying, but Waluigi Pinball shares music with DS Wario Stadium! Yeah, it does, but I think since it's been 9 years, they will do a new remix. Then again, the same could happen with Mushroom City and Mushroom Bridge, especially considering Sky Garden got 2 remixes within the span of a month thanks to Tour and Mario Kart 8. With this Bowser's Castle, the only reason I chose it is because it's in Tour and the data mine said that this would be a GBA course. I'd much rather have GBA Bowser's Castle 4. That's not in Tour, unfortunately, even though I think it's one of the better Bowser's Castles. Or even an SNES Bowser's Castle, as those have never returned. But, oh well, I like this track just fine. It's still a lot of fun. Lastly, I have the Unknown Ice Cream Course from the Datamine promotional image. I really don't have much to say. It's tracks like this that make me believe that the Datamine promotional image can be taken with a bit more than a grain of salt. And that may just be, well, still a placeholder. Tracks like this and other non-tour tracks like Koopa Cape that have potentially been seen, I think do give a little bit of weight to it. Even if not a lot. Without wasting any time, though, let's get into this cup. The Feather Cup, in fact. Get ready for the final GBA and SNES track in Wave 5. Tour Berlin Byways, We Koopa Cape, GBA Rainbow Road, and an unknown non-city tour map. Before I get into the real meat, I'm not going to say a lot about the unknown tour tracks, but if the data mines are to be believed, this cup ends with a tour track. I doubt it'll be a city track. It can be, but I doubt it. Anyways, Berlin Byways. This one seems to be a fun track. Although, as of now, it does only have one version in tour. But that'll probably change by then. I imagine it'll have all three versions by the time it releases the Mario Kart Tour Mario Kart 8 next year. And I hope they do real soon with this killer music. I can't wait for its Mario Kart 8 grand debut. Koopa Cape, to me, is one of the obvious Wii tracks, and I'd be shocked if it doesn't return, as this track is just a blast to play. I honestly enjoyed even more with Mario Kart 8 physics, as I don't care for Wii's, and playing it on 3DS cramps my hand up, so Mario Kart 8 is definitely the way to go, and this track, with its music, and just like the water streams, it'll be an absolute blast. Since the Datamine put a lot of GBA courses on there, I thought I might as well end them out with our second Rainbow Road. This track has great music, and I'd love to see it come back. While this slot could be Lakeside or Riverside Park, I'm still going with the Rainbow Road, as this is technically the next Rainbow Road in line to be remade since the first two have been remade. So I think this one makes sense, and this one isn't adored as much as something like 3DS or Wii or anything like that, so I can see them not even ending a cup with it. Much like SNES Rainbow Road wasn't the end of a cup in the original Mario Kart 8 DLC for Wii U. Following up the Feather Cup is the Double Cherry Cup, which I predict will have Tour Singapore Speedway, GameCube Baby Cruiser, SNES Vanilla Lake 2, and DS Peach Gardens. Seeing as Singapore is the most recent city track in Tour, I think it's not only a safe pick in general, but also a safe pick for a later cup. For Daisy Cruiser, well, what is there to say? It's just a blast to play. It's really cool, just racing on a cruise ship. It's just a cool idea. And while I would prefer Peach Beach myself, this one seems a lot more likely since Daisy doesn't have any tracks themed after her in Mario Kart 8 for some reason. With SNES Vanilla Lake 2, the Vanilla Lakes have actually never been remade, which is crazy considering the SNES games are so old now. The only remakes they have are the tour versions. I think it's really a gamble between 1 and 2. I know one of them is absolutely hated. I can't remember which. But I think for some variety, since I think we're gonna get Mario Circuit 1, I think we get Vanilla Lake 2. That being said, this slot could easily be replaced with the Bowser's Castle. And I would like it to be, but I doubt it will be. Peach Gardens is a really cool course, honestly, and I think I would enjoy it way more with Mario Kart 8's controls, as I've never really cared, just like with Wii. I just don't care for the controls of DS, It doesn't help that they crimp my hand, much like Mario Kart 7's. And obviously, I haven't played much Mario Kart Wii, so I really haven't got to experience this track a whole ton. And overall, I think this would be a really cool way to end the second to last wave. Well, we did it. Only one more wave to cover. Much like Wave 4, I made sure to jam-pack this wave with some really cool stuff to get all those last-minute sales. I think the Acorn Cup will contain an unknown city track, Wii Maple Tree Way, N64 DK Jungle Parkway, and DS Luigi's Mansion. I'm not going to go into this fantastic track called Unknown City Track, because it could be anything. My guesses are between Rome, Amsterdam, and Bangkok, with the latter two being data mined, I believe. But it could be anything. Maple Tree Way is a fantastic course that I love, and really want to see in Mario Kart 8. Even if it's just an upscaled tour port. Honestly, that wouldn't bother that much, as I just want to play this map. The lighting, Mario Kart 8 lighting alone, I think would carry it. And this is one of the better tour maps, look-wise as well. So I think it'll be fine either way. Plus, maybe they'll give it some touch-ups like they did for the Coconut Mall, Paris Promenade, Choco Mountain, and into Highway. While DK Jungle Parkway isn't my favorite N64 course, I still like it. There isn't really much left to choose from, and everything's been remade anyways at this point, since they already had Wario Stadium, so it really doesn't matter too much. It's not like we're stealing a map's chance of being remade. I mean, there's other really fun ones, like Frappe Snowland I might prefer, honestly. Or Bowser's Castle could happen, but I have another one in this wave. Oops, spoilers. But I do think DK Jungle Parkway is the most likely, unless I am forgetting already, even though I've only been recording this for like 20 minutes. I don't believe they've added a DK track. I've had a DK track yet in my DLC, and there's enough of them, so I think we'll get one here. I don't think we're getting GameCube DK Mountain, because there's other tracks that we'll see. Ending this wave is the last iconic DS track I can think of. There's probably a bunch more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but off the top of my head, this is the last one. Luigi's Mansion. It's about time for Mario Kart 8 to get a haunted house track that doesn't rely on an uninspired garbage gimmick that is the anti-grav route split that Mario Kart 8 loves using in a bunch of its Nitro tracks like Sweet Sweet Canyon, Twisted Mansion, Ice Ice Outpost, Rainbow Road, and others I cannot be cared to think of because I absolutely hate this gimmick, and I dislike most of the tracks that use it. Oh, like Electro Dome. The real question though with this track is, once it returns, is what will they do with the remix? Will they do a new remix, or will they use the battle stage music from Mario Kart 8? Use the Luigi Mansion stage for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? They decided to remix this track's music instead of GameCube's Bowser's Castle, which was the original music of the battle course. So, who knows? I guess we'll find out. When! Not if, when this track gets in the DLC. At long last, the Spiny Shell Cup, or as most people call it, the Blue Shell Cup, because that sounds better. While it would be cool to get all Rainbow Roads, I doubt it, frankly. Again, before I read off the last 3 tracks I've chosen, this cup will start with a city track. I just can't tell you which. Anyways, my last picks are GameCube, Waluigi Stadium, 3DS Bowser's Castle, and Wii Rainbow Road. For this Double Dash pick, I had no idea what to choose, as so many great tracks from that game could be added. That being said, I'm fairly confident that either Wario Coliseum or Waluigi Stadium will be added. I'd love to get both. I doubt we'll get both, but I'd love to. I'd also love to get GameCube Rainbow Road, but not as much as Waluigi Stadium or Wario Coliseum. 3DS Bowser's Castle is my personal favorite Bowser's Castle in the franchise, and I wish it was included in the base game, since the base game had no Retro's Bowser Castle track for some reason. I think that this would be the perfect second to last track, is it would make it feel like a proper special cup, having Ultimate Bowser's Castle on a Rainbow Road. Even though this isn't a special cup, and special cups don't have retros anyways, but that is besides the point. The last map I have on my list is the infamous Wii Rainbow Road. While this isn't my personal favorite, people adore this track. I also think this is a fairly obvious pick since the only time the data mine had a game with 2 entries per wave other than Tour was the 3DS in Wave 3 and the Wii in Wave 6. The perfect timings to get Rainbow Roads in the DLC, the halfway point in the ending. So I think, again, if that data is believable, it is very much implying the Rainbow Roads in these positions. Well, there's my predictions for this DLC. Well, some of my favorites like Moonview Highway, DS Bowser's Castle, the second Woohoo track, and a bunch of others are missing. This is a list I could easily settle for. I think it hits most of the really, really big tracks, and while there are obviously fan favorites that I didn't put in here, like Motion Bridge and Warrior Shipyard, and you know, there's just so many. It's hard to name them all. I still think that this is a really good list. Anyways, let me know down below how you think I did, what tracks you'd like to see, and what ones you don't. Anyways, as promised though, I said I'd talk about my thoughts on Wave 1 and the whole graphics debacle that people seem to be having online. I enjoy Wave 1. I have been loving it. I haven't played Mario Kart this much since I first got the Switch. Mario Kart is one of my favorite games, Mario Kart 8, because it's one of the games my family plays, so it's one of the few games I can play with my whole family. So I can play it out and about with my dad whenever we go out to our local pizza place. We bring the Switch, we play Mario Kart 8, while we wait for our food to arrive, then we do trivia. We played Mario Kart 8 and the same 48 tracks over and over again felt stale. I honestly wouldn't have cared what 8 tracks they chose. I would just been happy to have more, so it wasn't the same tracks over and over and over again. But I mean, Coconut Bowl is one of my all-time favorites in the franchise. The tour tracks, they come over so well. They are so much fun. Paris Promenade is one of my favorites in the entire game now. Choco Mountain, I don't like the original, and I don't think the DS one's much better anyways. I don't know what they did, but I love this version of Choco Mountain. So much fun. While I wish the Sky Garden was the full track layout and not necessarily the truncated tour one, it's still a ton of fun. And Toad Circuit is... well, it's a beginner track. It's still a lot of fun, good music. I have been loving Wave 1, and I am unbelievably, in the absence of a new mainline Fire Emblem game being announced recently, I'm the most and with Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC is what I'm most excited for on the Switch this year. Anyways, the graphic debacle. You got the apologetics, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen camps. I think both sides are making way too big of a deal out of this. This is a Nintendo racing game. Who cares? Yes, the tracks have a different art style, but they still look good for their art style. Shroom Ridge still looks good. The only problem is it doesn't look like, let's just say, Yoshi Valley from the base game. It looks completely different art style-wise, but it doesn't mean it looks bad. So obviously, like, they look different. And yes, it is noticeable. But when you're racing, do you really care what it looks like? Would you be like, man, this water park map, if this map, I would love this map if it looked better, or if this map didn't look so good, I'd hate it, or something like Mount Warrior, that's a commonly loved track. Do you think people would be like, if this map didn't look good, I wouldn't like it as much? No! No! I don't know why this is being made such a big deal. Yes, they don't look the same. Yes, they look worse. They still look fine. They're good enough. Both sides need to chill out. I don't know why this is a controversial topic. I don't know why people are getting so irritated about how they look. Really. It's a Mario racing game. Who cares? And anyway, if you're complaining about how they look, or have played all 8 Mario Kart games, you're not the target audience of this DLC. I'm not the target audience of this DLC. The target audience are people like my parents that have only ever played Mario Kart 8 and want more tracks. My parents do not care that they look any different. They do not care at all. They don't give a crap. They just don't. They've never played these tracks before. They are the target audience. Nintendo's not making this for the people that are complaining about the graphics. Or for people like me that have played all Mario Kart games. They are making this for people like my parents that have never played these tracks before and hold them off while Mario Kart 9's in development. And that's what you need to remember about this DLC. If you're complaining about it, you're probably not the target audience. Anyway, that's my whole thing on the graphic debacle. I think it's pointless. Anyways, let me know down below what course of this list you're most excited for. Or if you agree with my list, disagree with this list, what tracks you would like to see down below. I'll try my best to respond, you know. I love these tracks, a lot of them. And I just want more tracks of Mario Kart, so see you next time, YouTube.